you know, we've got a pretty cool army over here. The Bloodstalker, spider thing. Maggie, who is a Magma Soros, I believe. Tyrone. Got some wolves. We've got Shadow, my Pteranodon. But when it all comes down to it, when it comes down to my absolute favorite dino in my army, I'm gonna have to be 100% honest with you guys. When it comes down to my absolute favorite dino, out of all of them I have, I'm gonna have to be completely honest. It absolutely has to be Fluffy right here. My favorite and probably strongest dino. You might ask how this can be the strongest? Well, you do know how looks can be deceiving. Oh, you're done, buddy. Collateral damage, guys. Yo, welcome back to some Ark Survival, where today I'm on my own single player world. And, yeah. I'm gonna be showing off the Ferox dinosaur, who is what Fluffy is, Ferox. Gonna make sure I spelt it right. Ferox, I think I did. This isn't just gonna be about the Ferox, this is gonna be about the entire part 1 of the Genesis expansion, which added, you know, like the, some of the stuff I have, like the shoulder-mounted plasma cannons, which you can see right there. Shoulder-mounted. Neat as a plasma cannon. It took me a while to figure out how to use this, because it really doesn't explain. You simply hold triangle. Okay, it's not. Hold on. Man, triangle does so much. So you simply hold triangle, and that brings up this menu. I have my tech helmet on, which, you know, has the toggleable visor, which you also use triangle to control. But when you hold triangle with your shoulder cannon on, it gives you like the option to deactivate or activate it. It gives you the fire mode, which you have overcharge, which it just fires a regular shot but really charged. This is my personal favorite. Think of it like a sniper, basically. Single shot with few and far between with its shots, but hits for a ton of damage. There's standard. There's standard, which is basically overcharge, but fires slightly faster and does maybe half the damage. Not worth it, in my opinion. And then there's rapid fire, which does basically no damage, but fires pretty quickly. It's definitely not really that rapid fire. It's faster than the other options, but anyway, this is kind of nice to have, just because it's, you know, always guarding you. You also have some targeting options. You can go only tamed creatures, only wild creatures, only survivors are tamed, and then all. Or yeah, only survivors and mounted creatures, as in it'll shoot people. I think the way the only survivors and mounted creatures will work is it'll shoot survivors and it'll try to shoot them off of their mounts as well. But anyway, personally I keep it on wild creatures and long range and overcharge. The reason I don't have it on all targets is because my friend was in this world, and, well, we play in separate tribes because, well, she was trying to play through normally. Just pretty, you know, like, she's trying to just play normally, and I was in creative mode, and those obviously don't go well together, so we just stayed in the relatively the same area, but we stayed in separate tribes, and I learned from experience why I have to absolutely keep this on, keep my shoulder cannon on wild creatures only, is because anytime we'd run past each other, my cannon would blast her away. And it does so much damage that it would almost always kill. it'll pretty much always kill most regular unarmored, or doesn't even really matter if they're armored, it'll almost always kill survivors in a single shot. Anyway, so yeah, I also have the, what else is new? We have the cruise missile, which is, it's a, picture it like a homing RPG that does basically a nuke's worth of damage. Like, we do this, killed it. Now, when you read the description, it says, powerful tech missile that can be controlled remotely or fired and forgotten. And then, yeah, it gives the typical equipping. This requires learning the techgram. But, essentially, the way this works is, well, when I read it, I kind of thought you could, like, place these on the ground. Like, place the launcher on the ground, and you could get a remote detonator, like C4, that whenever you'd hit would fire the cruise missiles off, and you could have, like, a predetermined flight path for them, or something. But no, it's basically just picture it like an RPG, but it's remote controlled. And, it's very, very dumb, but take note that if you crash it into something, it's not going to detonate. You see? Clearly hitting stuff, and it can go underwater too. It's really stupid the way this works. Also, apart from the fact that it's pretty much impossible to see with this thing, due to the lag and the blur, and third person is available. What you essentially have to do to get this to work is, you have to take something else out. Well, what I usually do to get it to work is I hit my map button, and that launches the missile on its path, but takes you out of it. Now, the way you can use it in its, I guess, as a fire and forget thing, is as soon as you fire it, pull something else out, and then it goes. Pretty large explosion, as a cruise missile should have. Pretty good, does a lot of damage, as a cruise missile should. And, yeah. Then there's also the tech grenade launcher, which can be loaded with every kind of grenade in this game. Hold on. I still don't really understand how you unload this thing. It's kind of complex in my opinion. Hold on. All slots. Unload all slots. Hold on. Let me try to get this to work. Slot 1. Let me just unload some of this. Now, essentially the way the tech grenade launcher works is you can have it, you can load it with any kind of grenade in this game. Hold on. Oh wow. What the? I have to get one of those, frig, what are those, like, medic pig things called? The Deodons, I think. Anyway. Then, yeah, but essentially these can be loaded with every kind of grenade in this game. That includes regular grenades, poison grenades, or knockout grenades, smoke grenades, cluster grenades, tech grenades, and tech gravity grenades. And it can be loaded with one of each. It has a capacity of 6. And on its default setting, if you have all those grenades in your inventory, it will load it with one of all of them. And then, yeah, you can essentially fire them in quick succession. Hold on, let me load this. I had mine fully loaded with smoke grenades, just because I was messing around with my friend and I'd fire these at her house, just because it's like, blankets the area in smoke, as a smoke grenade should. Also a nice thing, it displays the arc of the projectile, and yeah. Something you can toggle on and off by double tapping square. I don't know what that does. Usually that would be a light or something attached to your gun. Laser sight, flashlight. We have, I think this was included in the Genesis thingy, but this is a mining drill. Pretty cool. You just hit your attack button to pull start, and then you can fire a beam that can pick berries, topple trees, smash rocks, harvest dead bodies. Pretty cool, pretty cool. My personal favorite out of all this stuff, just for appearance, we have the tech claws. Hold on, can I please have a minute? Hold on, let me hit this Argentavis with a cruise missile. I can't see. Whatever. And, but we have the tech claws. We all saw these in the trailer. These look frickin' amazing. And they sure as hell don't disappoint in-game. These have a cool, nifty mechanic of, rips through metal and armor when infused with element, and can chain hits to temporarily increase their speed and damage. Equipping this requires learning the techagram. So essentially, the way these work is as you stab something and as you start to stab and slash something, and hold your melee button down, you'll start to slash faster and harder. And eventually, it'll give stuff a debuff, which doesn't appear to do anything other than basically blind them from their perspective and cover them in, like, give them a little blue outline. See if I can find, like, something to... If I can get a single raptor. See that? You end up going faster with it, and you get that little thing down in the bottom. Maximum blade power. And yeah, they made it cool. They start to glow once you, like, even more when you stab stuff. Personally, with the way that you can paint these, you can go any way you like, but this is what I do, because it makes it look like a cool kind of it makes it look like, it gives it, I put red, region 6, and that's it. So it gives it a pretty kind of pink, purple, orange, and white glow to it. Which, honestly, I think is cool. And also, it gives you, like, the red energy. I love how they just materialized. It's so cool. Anyway. So, that's mostly gonna be what I'm showing off in terms of items. And I guess, I mean, if you're into that, there's a jump pad. It's a jump pad. What else can I say? You activate it, and then you have settings, and you can angle it, increase its, well, let me turn its size up, increase its force to maximum, and then you can just kind of jump, you know. Again, it's a jump pad. Anyway, so I'm going to be taking Fluffy, and I guess the Bloodstalker, that's what this is called by default. I'll probably do Maggie after, aka the Magma Soros. Now let me head up onto one of these ships. I painted these, you know, black and red. That's, in my opinion, looks the coolest out of pretty much anything with when you're painting tech stuff. All black with a red glow. Anyway, so yeah, let me take this chip thing. I forget what these are called, hover skids or something like that. Hover somethings. I think it's hover skiff, I'm not sure. Anyway, so let me bring us over here onto the beach. And these things are fast. They kind of remind me of, like, the dropships from Titanfall. But anyway. Sorry about that. My mom came in my room and I wanted to spare that. Alright, I'll start off with with these guys. Now, I've already shown what these guys can do. It's no secret what these guys do, but hold on, let me turn off my HUD and let me put the element out of my inventory, out of my hotbar to stop them from doing that. Now, looking at these guys very, very, very closely resembled the Jerboas from Scorched Earth, Ragnarok. But if you look, they have 4 arms, so 6 limbs. They have 4 arms as opposed to 2, as well as they have legs. Don't know why I pointed that out. And yeah. No. These, in my opinion, these guys, the Feroxes, in my opinion, are probably the most unique dino in this game. Starting with some of the things they can do. Well, she's not doing it now. The Feroxes can dig up element dust. They'll indicate if they're in the area by usually squeaking and sneezing if there's element near them. Also, like that, you see, added 5 element dust. I also think it's worth pointing at. Hold on, let me take the helmet off. It's gonna get annoying every time I double tap trying it. Oh my god, bro. I need to cut my hair. Anyway. So, I think it's worth pointing out that whenever you throw them, they do a little roll, they tuck up, and yeah, see that? Let me get that once more. She dug it up again. It's so cool. Anyway, so, but on to what these guys really do. You see that? How they start to act when you put element? Yeah, they sneeze. See how they act when you put element in your very last slot? I don't even know if it has to be in your last slot. Let me check that. Get the metal stairs out of here. Oh, it doesn't. So whenever you have element in your hotbar. So, what you need to do, taming them is much the same, but to get your, obviously, like this, these guys ain't much of anything really. I mean, they can get element dust and they're absolutely adorable. Like, look at this, they sit on your shoulder. How cute is that? And occasionally they'll, you know, maybe hop or something. It's cute, they kind of look around, you know? They're nice and cute. But, I love doing that. Oh. But other than cuteness and digging up element dust, they're not much use in fighting or combat or like anything. That is, until you start to feed them element. Simply put a piece of element down in your hotbar. Any slot will do, once they're tamed at least. And then you walk up to them and walk up to them until you can see this menu, and press whatever button your element is in. For me, it's L1X. And once you fulfill their element required amount, well, they won't be so cute and cuddly for much longer. Simply watch as what seconds ago was arguably one of the cutest things in the game is now one of arguably the strongest things in the game. This gives you the option to ride them, and down at the bottom of your screen you have a whole bunch of different things. It's worth pointing out that they have an element required bar as well as an addiction bar. As the addiction bar increases, the amount of element you have to feed them to mutate them increases as well. However, it's not all bad. As you increase your Ferox's addiction to the sweet, sweet element steroids, you can see here when you hold the, again on PlayStation, it's the touchpad button to bring up all this stuff. You can see that, you can see exactly what this stuff is. And I have 8 minutes and 35 seconds of transformation lifetime left. What was that? These things stomp. Anyway. So you can see there when you look at the addiction bar, all the stats in depth. You get, from the current level of addiction, you get minus 70 seconds to its transformation lifetime, which seems pretty bad. However, you also get a plus 178 damage increase, a plus 30.2% attack speed increase, and plus 19.5 damage resistance increase. So essentially, as your Ferox's addiction increases, so does their damage output, damage resistance, and attack speed. However, at the cost of reducing their transformation lifetime and increasing the amount of element you have to feed them to transform them. Going over the basics, their basic R2 attack, or I guess on PC it would be like left click. Their basic R2 attack is either a swipe or a bite. Seems to be depending on how they're feeling. Well, it's usually a slash. They will bite sometimes. L2 does this slam with all four arms and I guess a stomp as well. If you run and then press R2, your swipe left or right or your bite will be changed into this kind of like jump and slash type deal. It's also worth pointing out now that if you sprint into something, or at least when if you sprint into something and attack them, you'll send them flying. And often I like to combine this with my overcharged plasma cannon for some really fun kills, launching stuff up into the air and blasting them mid-air with plasma. Anyway, so yeah, as I said, their L2 is like a swipe, is the slam. If you press R3, they will take out, if you hold R3, you'll get a reticle. And upon releasing R3, your Ferox will haul up a boulder and toss it. And yeah, let me see if I can hit this. Yep. And then, yeah, if you press X, you can jump, and their jump is unique. I'll get into that in a bit. And yeah, these guys are really fast and can jump high and far. But oh boy, their jumping gets really insane. If you time your jumps, the thing is with their jumping, if you time it well enough, and basically while you're sprinting, jump as soon as you hit the ground, the distance you travel with the jump increases. And it's not a minor increase, to say the least. I mean, I have a pretty straight and flat area. So, first jump, watch this, now. Second jump. Third jump. Fourth jump. Okay, well, I got slowed down there. First. Second. Third. Getting stuck on stuff kind of screws you over, but, you know. Anyway. These guys can also climb walls, similar to... Oh crap. These guys can climb walls much like... Actually, not really like the Rock Drake or anything. They climb walls in a similar way to the, Deinonychus, whatever the things are on, on Valguero, the feathered raptor things, where you essentially have to keep jumping. You'll get a reticle when you're aiming at a wall, and if you press X, you'll jump onto and grab the wall. From here, you can press R2 to use your slash attack still. And you can also still throw rocks at things. When you're aiming at somewhere valid, if you press, a reticle will come up again, and if you press X again, provided it's sometimes in a really weird way, your Ferox will jump to that location. It's worth noting that if you run out of stamina, like anything that climbs walls, if you run out of stamina while on a wall, you will detach and fall off. But all in all, the Ferox, they're really strong. And personally, these guys alone are a big part of the reason why I'm actually trying to begin. Well, they're a big part of the reason why I'm considering getting the Genesis pass so I can get the first Genesis map. Because I've seen some gameplay on that map, and I've seen, like, obviously some of the dinos. Oh man, is that map ever pretty? It looks like a whole new game. Anyway, so, yeah, that's the, Ferox. By the way, I'm not sure if this is just a PlayStation thing. I highly doubt it. But does anyone else have the thing where whenever they hold, again on PlayStation, you hold circle, but whenever you bring up your whistle wheel to you know, do your whistles like your follow all, follow one, stop all. Does anyone else have it where if you're looking at a dino, as soon as it brings up the menu, it'll do the follow one? Like, I hate that so much. 'Cause like, it's just so tedious. I hate it. Anyway. So, getting into the Bloodstalker spiders. These guys are really something else. Alright. So, starting with the basics. These little yellow circles on your screen are the spider's webs. Now, this can do a lot, and I personally don't know everything they can do. But, essentially, when you mount this thing, you'll find that it's pretty strange. What ends up happening is the spider will use its, like, claws, or whatever you want to call them, arms, to hold you in place. L2 and R2, or, you know, the left trigger, right trigger, and I think left and right click on PC, will fire your webs. R1 will fire the right, L1 will fire the left, and hitting them simultaneously will fire both at once. R3 will either be, depending on if you have your webs deployed, R3 will either be a slash with its leg tentacle things, or if your webs do anything, R3 will detach your webs. This can jump, and pretty high at that. I mean, the frickin' Ferox's jump puts pretty much everything to shame in this game. They can go on water, and stupidly well. Literally being able to float. And these webs get really insane, because they're a good weapon, but they're godlike for transport. Case in point. Now, I'm not good with it, and you're going to have to get good with quick timing and being able to look around and snap your reticle to where it needs to be. But, for example, if we do this, swing through here, do this, go up here, over there. Now I'm on top of a mountain. So, this is probably one of the best dinos in the game for transport. If you put the time and effort into learning the ins and outs of how this works, and just getting good with the mechanics of it, you can Get really good with this, and you'll be able to cross the land in absolutely no time. These are amazing for transport, but the web's utility doesn't stop there, as they're not just good for transport. They introduce the spider's main method of attack. If you highlight something with your webs, it'll turn like purple or some random color. And if you fire your web, you will pull it in, tangle it up, and your spider will rapidly begin slashing and stealing its life. Well, draining its blood. And eventually we'll kill it. Let's do this with it. Oh, I missed. Okay, let's do this with a Dillo. Wait. Dillo. See, you grab it. It's difficult to see in first person. Look at that. I'm not that good with this dino, but personally I find with its webs, I just find it to be a lot of fun to use. As a spider should be able to, it can walk on walls, go upside down, all that greatness. Now, the webs can also pull stuff out of the air, and the webs prevent stuff from running away, and then simply holding, you don't even have to hold it. Once you web something, and you drag it in, what does this do? Biograpple cooldown. Okay. But, I mean, essentially, once you grapple it, your spider does the rest. Let me check. So you don't have to hold anything. Actually, before I say that, let me check. You can grab stuff from really far away. Oh no, you do have to hold it. Okay. So, you hold it to drag it in. Don't run, buddy. You're coming in. Come on. Come on. That's terrifying the way it reels in its own stuff thing. Okay, I let it go then. Not for long. I'm gonna let it fly away a bit, then I'm gonna yoink it. Get back here. He gone. Haha. Gotcha. So yeah, once you fire your web at something, it's best to hold that button until it gets brought in, and then you can watch in amazement as your spider just begins to repeatedly stab and stab and stab and stab and stab and stab until whatever you grabbed stops moving. Now, but this doesn't stop there, as you can take out weapons on this thing, and it does so in the spider allows you to use your weapons in one of the most odd ways. Most dinosaurs or mounts that you can pull out your weapon on, you know, don't really do anything. They just kind of, well, you're on the saddle, they allow you to. Oh no, pull out a weapon, primarily a gun, on this thing, and it frickin' stands up. Look at that. It stands up for you to use, and then you can, with your spider, just walk around. Yeah. It's extremely bizarre. I'm pretty sure you can even do that when you're like hanging on stuff. Hate the friggin' rain, it's just so like, just takes up so much space on your screen. It makes it like impossible to see. That's an alpha something. Hard to see, but I am upside down. And now I'm, like, standing up while hanging, while upside down. This is really frickin' trippy. Anyway, so yeah, I'm upside down on a hanging, upside down spider that's hanging off of the edge of a mountain. Free to catapult my smoke grenades and stuff and obscure the world's vision. Alright. So, that's about it for this creature thing. Those are some scary sounding owls. I have to find my way back to where I parked my ship. Which was just up here, wasn't it? Yep. Hello, Fluffy. Let me get my spider on this. And then I'll show off the Magma Soros. Also known as the, well, as I have her named, Maggie, which is alliteration and a pun at the same time, because Magma, Maggie, I hate it, but and flies back home. I could see what I was doing. Alright. So let me take Maggie. And yes, you can put a Magma Soros on a ship. On one of these little ships. Even though she is just as big, or she's at least just as big. Most likely bigger. But yes, it works. Yes, it's stupid. Don't ask questions. It's Ark Survival. Hopefully none of that was following me. Is the spider still down there? I think. So, the Magma Soros is a really unique dinosaur. And, we'll get into depth with it here now. So, starting off, she has a basic. If you hit your basic melee button, R2 on PlayStation, whatever, left click on PC, she'll perform a swipe or a bite. Pretty simple. Holding L2, she charges. Wait. Searing. Alright, that's cool. So I can't use this. Holding L2 would essentially be a giant shot of... if you hold your other attack button again on PlayStation, it's L2, so I guess left click on PC. She charges up her spit, and... yes, charges up. And, basically coughs up a giant ball. Oh, I can do it now. So you can see it charges up. Usually it's a lot faster. And you can see she actually starts to glow really intently. And once you get it fully charged, it's basically a frickin' meteor. Case in point. that explodes into a massive ball of... That explodes into a massive fiery thermite mass, and it's amazing. If you tap L2, it'll be this little tiny spat, and then if you fully charge it, which takes forever after you rapidly do it, it's just like a meteor. Oh, I think I hit that Bronto. Speaking of which, let me catch him on fire. I have a cool little reticle to do this with. Oh wait, it just died. Hold on. Let me see how this interacts with some trees. Charge it up to maybe 30%. That blows up rock. Alright, let's test it up against this Rex. If I can find the bloody thing. Anyway. So, the Magma Soros, in terms of, like, I guess I can look at the stats. I don't think I've actually upgraded her whatsoever. Actually, I take that back. I believe I have. Yes, I've put some points into her weight. But this is, give or take, I think a level 45 tame with 4,900 health, 750 stamina. Who cares about oxygen or weight, honestly? I mean, oxygen or food. Weight was about 60 points less. Melee damage, movement speed, well, it's a giant frick. What is this? Hold on, I want to hit that Rex. Oh, and it's worth noting, because me and my friend tested this earlier, once you actually start to charge up your searing spit and it starts to glow like this, it will actually start to damage and or at least all players around you. Let me just cough a meteor at the frickin' Rex. See if that does anything. No. Alright, so hitting R3 does nothing. However, for a reason I'm about to state, the Magma Soros fit best into your fleet of dinos, I guess you'd say. The Magma Soros fit best into kind of like a tank role for the fact that they have a large health pool, and if you press X, they'll do this. It's pretty impressive. They just kind of do it like a roar, and also spew fire out from all the parts of their body, basically. Or at least all the little, like, exhaust pipe looking things on their spine. Alright. So, oh my god. That, like, broke its neck. Okay. So, this ability, on top of looking extremely badass, catches, you see here, it says Taunt, and it releases this pink gas that those of you who've played Ark for a while will recognize as the stuff that the packy rhinoceroses release, as well as the stuff that surrounds you when you eat rare flowers. It's the spray that essentially marks you as a target and causes everything around you to attack you, including stuff that normally be passive, like parasaurs, dodos, the lystrosauruses. But now, what this does is it will divert the attention of all the, like, if your dinos encounter some other hostile dinos and they all get into a big fight, if you have a Magma Soros on your team and it's fighting like by itself, it will usually use this taunt ability, and this will get the attention of all the hostile dinos, and they'll stop attacking whatever they were attacking and come to attack the Magma Soros. And well, yeah. We see, even this thing's coming to attack me. Oh wait, you pest. Let me just catch the area on fire. Or not. Okay, that works. So yeah. However, these also serve more than just as a tank, because they can harvest meat and hide, stone and metal, and wood. They have a massive weight reduction to metal, and I believe metal only weighs about a quarter in their inventory. And also, if you hop off the dinosaur, I'll get into why it has that little container at the top of the saddle in a minute. If you hop off and bring up its options menu, you see it enables smelting, or that's access inventory. You have the enable smelting option. That does just that, and will cause your dinosaur to do this, whatever this is, and essentially over time, you'll see 12 metal ingots. Any meat will be cooked, and metal will be smelted. You see, it went from 12 to 13. We also cooked prime meat and cooked meat. Those of you who have played Scorched Earth and have had a Phoenix before will recognize this, as the Phoenix would constantly smelt metal and cook meat that was in its inventory. By the way, speaking of Scorched Earth, similar to the rock golems, or rock titans, or rock elementals, whatever you want to call them, the Magma Soros live off of a diet of like stone, sulfur, crystal, obsidian, a whole bunch of rocks. Like, I can feed her rocks right now. Anyway, so yeah, that's the ins and outs of this thing. Except, well, yeah, the saddle protects the rider from heat, and this, with this saddle on, this dinosaur, well, by default, by nature, this dinosaur is resilient to any kind of fire or lava. And also, I mean, it should be obvious it's on fire, and it has lava drooling out of its mouth. But yeah, the dinosaur itself is not harmed or impacted in any way by like fire or lava. And with this saddle on, their rider isn't harmed or impacted by lava. And essentially, if you have this saddle on, you can take this dinosaur and just go swimming through lava, even submerging in it. Or at least I think you can. I know for a fact that it protects you. But anyway. Yeah, that's the ins and outs of this. Now, before I head back home and end my stream, I would like to play with the Ferox a bit more. 4 elements, and this is probably going to go up to 5. Yep. Come on, Fluffy. Ignoring the fact that it goes all potato and like PS2 for a bit. Dude, this thing looks so much less intimidating when it looks like it's being rendered on a PS2. There we go. Alright. But, yeah. I also want to show what it looks like when they run out of transportation life time. And, anyway. And I've looked into not Extinction, the Genesis map. And it looks freaking amazing. Like the, what's it called? The lunar biome or something like that, where you can find the They have a tech saddle for the Astro where is it? Astrocetus. The Astrocetus dinosaurs that are essentially space whales. The lunar biome, I think it's called, is literally just in space, or at least it's space themed. Like, it has the radioactive sunlight, meteor showers. You can see all the like nebulas and stuff. It's really, really, really pretty and deadly. It's extremely deadly. And those Astrocetus or whatever, like the space whale things, have a hyperdrive ability that lets them, well, yeah, warp through time and space and teleport, much similar to the Enforcers from Extinction. Except it's like, I think it's really far that they can teleport. And the thing is, I believe they'll also teleport everything around them with them. So yeah. And also they're basically like an attack plane, because their saddle comes with several gun turrets on it that you can switch between. And these things don't have a regular saddle? Huh. And yeah. They'd come with, yeah, well, gun turrets, and I'm pretty sure they also come with like a bombing mechanic. Oh crap. Fluffy. Yup. Let me enable my plasma turret. Shoulder cannon, I require your assistance. Fire mode, overcharge, wild creatures, long range. Let's do it. It's so fun getting right up next to something and then just smashing them over the head with a rock. The plasma turret's extremely overpowered. I love it. Also, I believe you can essentially, even though it's basically a thing of its own, well, it is, and I don't think there's any way to actually force it to fire. There is actually, that's what I was going to bring up. If you... Hold on. If you hold the whistle wheel button, or in PlayStation terms, just hold circle, usually it'll fire at whatever it's targeting. Like, hold on, let me see. Get off and see if it'll work. Oh, it's just firing on its own, okay. I mean, it would fire on its own, but... Anyway. Why does it rain so often? That's a raptor. Game crashed. Well, that's gonna do it for this stream, and yeah, bye. That is whenever my game finishes crashing, but yeah. Well, goodbye.